Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." They said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." They said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
Yeah, he and I have to definitely debate. That's what I love.
Hello, can you hear me? Buddy?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? I'm muted. Hello? He muted me.
Uh-oh. We're booming out? I have to change the lighting on that camera, though.
Oh, boy.
What if we...
Yeah, he's suppressed my microphone, so...
swapped cameras real quick, and it looked incorrect. And then I configured video. And then... Why is it so... Oh, the darkness is...
We're all professional streamers.
Dude, can you hear me, bro? You having technical issues, my dude? What's going on?
It's my fault that he suppressed me in his server.
You good?
Is this what he's gonna do?
I'm suppressed in your server?
This is hilarious.
Oh. Why are you suppressed?
No idea. I'm oppressed.
Let me undo that. Does that unmute you? Try that. Actually, you might have to verify. What the fuck? This didn't happen last time.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm...
Let me switch cameras back.
I don't know what he wants, what he is wanting me to do.
You know what we could do? We could just do a private call. 1 second.
Yeah, that was what we should have done in the first place. But yeah, okay.
Do that. That works too. Hear me okay?
Yep. Can you hear me?
All right. You weren't kidding around with the JC thing. That's your a bit, but it's like your personality.
Yeah,
like
big time. I'm all about it. All about that Christ-like love.
Is that true?
Yeah, you know it, man.
Are you a Christian then?
No, I'm an atheist.
Are you actually an atheist?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's good. So what was your political disagreement with me?
Well, I've got a...
Also, I saw your pronouns are he, they. Is that true?
No.
Like you do that earnestly as well?
He, him. It should
But
be
like
changed
on
in
Discord,
my,
it's he, they?
Oh, then I haven't changed it on Discord. No, it's he, him.
Oh, okay. Either way. Me too. Why'd you change that?
I felt like it. So I had a couple of things to ask you about. What's your definition of Nazi?
So a Nazi would be like a far right wing ethno nationalist.
No fascist component there for you?
Well, far right wing would include fascist, and I guess in that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nazis are fascistic, yeah. They called themselves National Socialists, but that was really what they had going on. Do you agree with you please tell me I talked to a Nazi recently. You don't identify as a Nazi.
If you're talking about the race realist from last night, no, I don't agree with his politics nor those of Nazis.
Right. What would you describe your politics as?
I'm a center-left liberal.
A center-left liberal?
Yeah.
Why'd you laugh? What was that?
Because I was waiting for you to turn that into a derogatory. I know that's what you guys love to do.
I mean, wow, you are coming in with a certain opinion, aren't you?
Based on the reactions from the couple of your videos I saw, it doesn't seem like that far off, but sure.
Based on which videos?
I watched the one from
what irritated
I watched the one
you?
from last night, with the race realist guy, and then I watched one before about why anti-theism is necessary. And you kind of in that one, liberal was sort of, when that came up, you sort of laughed. So I guess I'm not sure what's wrong with being
definitely
a liberal. Yeah.
So. Oh well, yeah. What's wrong with being a liberal? Oh wow, where to start? So a lot of the problems with liberals is that you may identify a problem, but you misdiagnose it. And a lot of the things about liberals are that you buy into a lot of the like bad propaganda or just like bad ideas that the establishment already upholds. Like for instance, like it's police officers deserve respect and honor, and
You don't think we should
it's
respect
big, like,
police
they're
officers?
heroes. Absolutely not. No, they don't deserve respect because they ran around a community college and then decided to be an employee of the violence arm of the government. What a
they were
silly
doing
notion.
Their job.
So are pizza delivery guys who have a more dangerous job.
Yeah, but you lefties don't call pizza delivery guys like fascist bootlickers. It's only cops.
Well, because pizza delivery guys aren't enacting any sort of fascism.
No, I don't really think cops are either. I think they're doing their jobs.
Why?
Because they're doing their law enforcement.
What's their job?
To enforce the law.
Okay. Do you think all the laws are just?
No, I'm not that stupid.
Okay, so here's why you're dumb, because this is the liberal thing, right? Because you can identify that laws are bad, like some of the laws are bad, not every law, but there's dumb laws. And you can identify, I certainly hope so, that the police don't carry out their job well. And they do
I
so.
think there's instances of
so.
police brutality and like police like improper action, but for the most part, I think American.
But like a lot of
good.
them, right? Not like a hand wavy amount.
Now, how much
like
is a lot?
Significant amount. How much is a lot?
Yeah, out of all of the cops in the United States, how many would you say don't do their job properly or don't meet your standards?
No, I think no, don't do their job. Meet my standards? Yeah. Oh, none of them meet my standards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there are only bad actors in the police.
Well, that's a complicated. So I believe that a lot of police do not believe that they are bad actors at all. Of course not.
Yeah, for sure. But that's not what I asked. I asked you if you thought there were no bad actor. There were only bad actors in the police.
Well, I mean, like fundamentally speaking, you can't be a violent wing of the government inflicted upon the people in an ethical way. So yeah, I mean, no, they're not good actors. It's not a good thing to have for.
You don't think it's ethical to have law enforcement?
Law enforcement is not the same thing as what the police are, but yeah.
I mean,
not our law enforcement whatsoever.
I disagree. I think the policemen are law.
Sure, why?
Because if my house was getting broken into, I would call the police and they would come get the guy.
Right, but the police wouldn't stop that. And
yeah, because they're not there when it's happening. But if I called them, I bet they'd come.
Right. Right. And do you know how many house break-ins are solved? Why don't you look it up for me? The percentage of house break-ins that are solved?
I don't know what solving a house break-in is. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so then what is the function of the police officer there? That you can call them?
Yeah. So that I can call them, I can make a report.
What the fuck?
I can report the stuff that was stolen. I can report the...
Is that helping you?
Yeah.
How is that helpful?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, how?
Because if you don't have a wing of law enforcement behind you in order to enforce because the property value of my property is only enforced by the law behind it, and police being part of that. Like nobody can come in. Nobody can come in and squat in my house, because if they do, I can just call the fucking cops and get them out. Like if somebody walked in my front door right now and said, "Hi, I live here now," I would go, "No, the fuck you don't." Right. And if they didn't leave, I would call the cops.
Okay, we're jumping around a different. How often does that happen? Is that a thing?
What does that got to do with anything?
Okay, so it's not a societal problem we have to worry about. But let's say guys walking.
Whoa! Just because it's not like a common thing doesn't mean it's a societal problem. Like, aren't you You lefties are all over the trans stuff, and that's like less than 1% of the population. So don't even bullshit me about that.
Wait, are you not pro-trans?
Well, I'm absolutely pro-trans, but you guys are like way pro-trans.
Wait, what is this? Explain the difference.
You seem to think that, like, I don't know, you believe in, like, wild things like, I don't know, the trans sports stuff. I'm not sure I'm super sold on.
Are you even a guy that likes sports?
No, are you?
I am definitely a guy that likes sports. So you have never played sports or anything like that?
I didn't say that. I played sports. It's not my thing.
What sports did you play? It's not your thing. Okay, that's fine. But you don't have to be like a big jock or anything. I don't care. It's not a manly test or anything. Like, so if it's not a subject you care about, why would that be part of your disagreement?
Because I think that the happiness of the people who already perform in those sports should also be considered when making these kinds of decisions.
I think the happiness of the people who play sports with their peers would be just fine if they didn't have social pressure to act differently.
I don't think it's just social pressure.
It's absolutely social pressure.
Not really.
How so?
Well, so like trans women who don't go through
Are you playing a video game?
Excuse me?
Are you playing a video game?
Absolutely not. I'm talking to you, bud.
Oh, okay.
Trans women who don't start their gender transition until later in life after they've already gone through a male puberty have higher levels of testosterone present in their body, and I think that gives them an unfair advantage against some female athletes.
And so they should transition earlier in life.
Sure.
Okay. So you agree that kids can play sports with each other? There we go.
Yeah, but we're not talking about kids all the time, are we? Like, there's like,
kids all the time. What do you mean?
Like, it's not just
so
kids
already
playing
in so
sports,
so in situations
right?
like if you're saying like trans athletes,
in all sports, yeah.
So trans athletes.
You want to specify it down to kids? Like, we can talk about like kids. I probably have less of a problem with because I think like early child development is very similar. I don't think like up until like puberty, I don't think there's much physical difference between a boy and a girl. Maybe a little bit more strength on like most boys, but like I don't think it's like a super like statistically relevant
teenagers
difference.
and stuff. The people that were talking about transitioning stuff, but like
but like if
the Olympics, for instance,
you would agree that a person who's trans is trans from like early childhood, right?
They already
like they're trans their whole life
for this stuff. They already test for this stuff. If you have like an adult that is transitioned later in life that is doing like any kind of athletics or stuff, they already have like your testosterone test. The Olympics, for instance, has been doing this for years.
Do you think someone like becomes trans, or do you think they're born trans?
What do you mean becomes trans?
Like, do you think?
Part of
yeah.
people.
So like a 10-year-old can be trans.
Right. They're
So when I was talking about like at an early age, there's not a big physical difference between boys and girls. There's not a big difference.
I was
there's not a
answering
big
your question
issue
before,
with having those kids play sports
Mm-hmm.
together. Yeah. Teenagers, I don't know if I care as much. And adults, it's only when it comes to the testosterone levels of like, I'm not super like
that. You think you have to talk over me?
I do. I feel like I do to get a point in based on what I saw last night.
I think it would be last night, a couple days ago. I think you saw the YouTube.
Yeah, that might be my bad. Sorry, I'm a VOD watcher.
Yeah, I mean, you could just talk normal, and you don't have to like try to assert yourself. As we sort of will have a conversation and interrupt each other.
I'm coming on too strong for you. I don't mean to intimidate you.
I don't. Okay. I don't know why you got to try to big dog me when you're the
big dog.
Who you are?
You seem like you were telling me to calm down. You were telling me not to talk over you. I'm sorry if I'm too much for you. I don't mean to.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. So you are an atheist. So you are a materialist, I assume, and you believe in all the science and natural reality that we live in, right? Okay. So and you are a trans ally, 2 children from a young age, and you believe that they should be able to transition as early as they want?
I don't feel super comfortable taking like a strong stance because I previously had positions that were like sort of given to me by a parasocial relationship with a YouTuber, and like ever since there was a certain incident with that certain YouTuber, I've started reevaluating a lot of these positions from like a base level. I would say broadly, I am a trans ally.
Okay. What about acutely?
On the acute issues, I'm obviously always going to be in favor of adults doing whatever they want with their bodies, or whatever they want with anything, like so long as they're not harming each other. Teenagers, it's a little bit tricky because like I don't know. I think I've seen some stuff coming out of like the UK and like the EU that's like some of the trans stuff over there is getting kind of rushed, especially in like the youth. So, and I haven't really looked into it yet, so I'm not super comfortable taking a strong stance on like trans kids, but trans adults, yeah, absolutely, they can do whatever they want.
All right, so puberty blockers, for instance, are the most important thing because you don't want a trans kid who you acknowledge is going through, the experience of likely dysphoria or something similar.
I think you have to have dysphoria to be trans, yeah.
That's not true. Not every person that's trans has dysphoria.
Well, that's not what I said. I said I think you have to have dysphoria to be trans. You're right that not every trans person today, or not every person who claims to be trans, has dysphoria.
No, but that's not a prerequisite. Like you could be non-binary, for instance.
Sure.
You had he, they in your bio,
but
you changed it?
Yeah, I changed it on Twitter.
So can you explain? Right, so so you identified as non-binary at one point and now no longer consider that an option?
Yes, that would be correct.
Why do you think so? Just as a personal thing, or do you think non-binary is not a non-valid?
This is another one where like I had a position handed to me and I'm sort of reevaluating, so I don't know whether or not I don't know if I'm comfortable saying it's like invalid. I just don't consider myself non-binary anymore.
Okay, so as an atheist materialist, you can level with me and we do not have to fight about some of the inherent like biological essentialist shit, right? So I mean, as apes that are walking around a rock in space, we can, of course, express ourselves however we wish, right?
Adults, yeah.
Adult, well, what? No, children are also apes on a rock and don't have any prerequisite towards expression.
Why do you do the Christian thing? Like, why do you do the Christian tactic with the whole materialist thing? That's the stuff that they say.
What? No, I agree, but you, because you agree with me on that stance.
I don't agree that I think that we're a little bit more complicated than just apes on a rock. I think that's an incredible like reduction down to the point of irrelevancy.
I disagree. I think it's core to our experience because we are, of course, great apes experiencing this and socializing. We just happen to have language and
we just happen to have the one thing that distinctifies us: language, higher reasoning from every other animal on the planet. Yeah,
we are quite distinctified. I agree. It's definitely the case that we are a more intelligent species than like a fucking gorilla, but it's not like obviously like. We're still somewhat apes. Like we didn't have sanitation fucking 300 years ago. Like we have this highfalutin idea of yourself.
Yeah, like you can, dolphins still don't have cities. Like dolphins don't have sanitation. Octopuses don't have cities.
Well, dolphins don't need sanitation or cities. But I agree that they're dumber than us. Like they don't need either of those things. But neither do we. I mean, we need cities kind of because of the way that we socialize, evolutionarily speaking. But nonetheless, what the point is that expression doesn't have to be limited to any sort of societal specificity, like man or woman. You don't think there can be anything outside of our expressions culturally of man and woman?
I think that when it comes to like gender roles, while it is true certainly that there have been various like civilizations etc. throughout history that have had like third genders, trigenders, two-spirit people, that sort of thing. It does seem to be the case that the majority of modern societies sort of gravitate towards two genders. There could be a bunch of different reasons for that. I would probably just defer to like social cohesion. I think that a lot of people just like it's easier for people to like work that way. If in the future like we have 1 billion genders, I don't fucking know, but you know.
Okay, but so right now is the future, and we do have 1 billion genders or whatever.
Sure. But the problem I have with that statement,
I mean, it's obvious
the problem I have with that statement is that those genders aren't universally recognized, right? So like it's
what's that have to do with
gender is a social category?
You're an atheist. You agree that universal recognition doesn't determine truth.
Universally recognized, as in all of the people on the earth agree and recognize the
That's not true. I disagree. Of that gender. And yeah, there's a large swath of people that disagree with that legitimacy. I don't know what you're talking about.
There is a large swath of people who disagree.
You wouldn't take this argument from a Christian. Huh? Billions of us believe in the supernatural, therefore it's true. That's a stupid argument.
No, that's not what I said. Gender is a social category, and social categories only have relevancy when they're adopted by a large portion of society that uses them to communicate. So like if you have like one person and then there are 10 friends who are all dear gender, but nobody else recognizes that, then it's not a valid gender to me.
Why?
Because the utility of gender is as a social category, and if the social category isn't used by broader society, then I don't see much utility to it.
It doesn't have to be utility. There's not a utility to everything. There's no
utility in everything. That's why we do anything. It's because it serves a purpose. What's the utility
in your beard shape?
It attracted my fiance.
Why? But it's not a utility. It just made you feel something.
Well, yeah, but
right?
I shaved my beard into this shape. I chose to grow a beard rather than keep it clean shaven, specifically because I think I look better with a beard, and my fiance agrees.
Right, but that's not like direct utility. There's an inborn version. If you were alone on an island,
I get direct utility.
If you were alone on an island, would you have zero hygiene?
I think hygiene would matter a lot less to me. Yeah.
It would matter less, but you wouldn't have zero.
Well, no,
you would
because
cut your
you would
hair,
die.
You would.
With zero hygiene, you would probably die in a long enough timeline.
Okay, cool. But you wouldn't have So you agree, but you would still take care of yourself to some extent because it would feel good. And would you take any care at all in your appearance? Is it only something you do for other people? You don't all.
I just said that I like the way my beard looks.
Right. And so you agree that you can even call it a utility to yourself to have self-gratification about things about yourself.
So you think a beard
right?
is the same as being trans? or having a gender that not broadly recognized.
I think a beard is part of your gender expression.
I would never disagree with that. It 100% is.
Right. Okay. So it's a part of your personal gender expression, and you feel like it makes you feel a certain way about yourself. Correct. And that is a good thing. It can feel however you want. Right. And that's right. And so I don't understand how you think that you can only feel like a man or a woman, when it's pretty obvious that you've experienced at least something where you're like, well, I'm not sure if I even care about that.
Yeah, that was all it was I didn't know if I cared about being assigned as one gender or the other. And that was mostly because I was adopting some more effeminate characteristics and some more feminine like grooming techniques. I was wearing like fingernail polish and stuff. I was wearing more jewelry and stuff like that. And like now I'm a lot more comfortable and confident in just being a dude.
That's great. You don't need to express in any certain way, but you can also like, you don't need to be even, mask and like dabbling in feminine stuff to be non-binary. Like it's not just about expression. It's just about how you feel.
I mean, okay.
What do you mean? What's your problem?
I think that, so like if I'm walking past someone on the street, how do I tell whether they're a man or a woman?
Exactly. I don't know.
Well, I would probably look at the social characteristics they're presenting to me, right? I would look at how long their hair is. I would look at if they have facial hair or not. I would look at the clothes they're wearing.
And you agree you might not be right, right?
Yeah, I would agree that I might not be right, but it gives me a pretty good idea.
Right. Okay, but it's becoming, like you're using the word utility, it's becoming less utilitarian to make those assumptions.
Because people
are expressing themselves in a wider variety of ways.
Yeah, minority people on the internet maybe, but like the most people in real
life, they're all over the place. Queer people exist everywhere.
Well, yeah, but like trans women don't like walk around with beards usually.
There's definitely trans women that do.
I did not say that. I said trans women don't usually walk around with beards.
Right,
if there's three trans women,
if there's three trans
women that wear beards, then that's great. I'm happy for them. I hope they feel comfortable with it. That's a straw man of the
position because there's obviously more trans women and just cis women.
You're the one taking my position and out of context because I specifically said
it's not out of context.
Okay, so why would a trans woman feel uncomfortable looking at her male body? If she pre-transition,
it absolutely depends on the trans woman.
Okay.
Like what she doesn't like about her body. How could I possibly know? For instance, some trans women like their dicks. Some trans women like their body hair. Some trans women like their facial hair. Not all of them.
True.
Okay, so I don't know. So you would say secondary sexual characteristics likely?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you would. That's what you would assume.
Because that's what we assign gender identity off of. Yeah.
And that is so you're leaning on like the stereotype of a binary trans woman to make determinations about how all the trans people act, and it's just wrong.
No, I'm
and so that's what I mean. Like you make
to demonstrate my thinking.
Exactly. And that's a flawed thinking because you're using like these social markers that you're identifying as like appearance and it's aesthetic, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's served me pretty well so far. You're boiling it down to
aesthetic, which is
I don't think I've misidentified a trans. I think maybe once, and that was because rather than being a trans man, they were non-binary.
Anybody.
Well, no, I'm saying that observing secondary sexual characteristics so far has served me pretty well.
Would you accept anecdotes as evidence for things?
I don't know. We're just having a chat, right?
Okay, that's what I thought. We are just having a chat, that's for sure. But like
just two bros.
Just two guys having a chat, and I talk like this with just two guys having a chat. So I don't accept that as evidence.
Okay.
Why are you so smarmy and upset?
Yeah,
what is going on?
Because I'm an asshole.
Why though?
No,
that's interesting. Why?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Why?
No. If I gotta be honest,
it's one of defensiveness for sure. Definitely not openness and interest.
It's more just because I'm waiting for you to I'm waiting for you to start rambling and over talking me and like not letting me answer any questions. So I'm trying to keep my answers like short and sweet so that I can actually get something out that I want to say before you start talking.
Okay, so the reason I was talking over the Nazi Dave is because he was misrepresenting my arguments back to me.
How do you know he was
times.
A Nazi? Because I got race realist for sure, which is still pretty fucked up. But like, I didn't get a Nazi. I'm just curious. I'm asking. I don't come to this stuff in bad faith. I hope you don't either.
Okay. Well, you said you watched it.
I watched like half of it. I said I watched half of it.
Oh. Did you watch the second half of it or the first half?
I watched the first half. I didn't get all the way through it.
Oh, okay. Well, his wife comes in later and says that Finland can't give housing to black people because black people aren't civilized enough to have housing, And then he laughs and rage.
Yeah, that sounds like race realism and racism to me. But like,
so it is race realism, and then they describe in him and his chat who he of course will dog whistle through the whole thing, but he and his chat are talking about ethnostates. It's just ethnostates, and they're talking about redistributing wealth from who, and then he says the banking class, and that has brackets around it.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right.
Of course.
Well, don't say it. Don't be too presumptuous.
It's my burden.
Well. Hey, question.
So why?
Do you really think that white Christian men are the perpetrators of the most crime?
Most crime and abuse, yes.
Yeah, where? So crime where? Crime where?
In America?
Okay, can you show me what source that you were looking at? Because I kept trying to I googled a bunch of stuff to try and figure out where you got that from. And I have no idea.
So
white Christian men is just like such a specific demographic that I find it really difficult to believe that you could nail down the majority of crimes to specifically white Christian men. Well, no, I want to see. I want to look at your source, please. Like, where did you get that from?
Right. So, I mean, I don't have it in front of me. It's on Twitter all over the place. So, it's FBI statistics. It's also
the FBI statistics talk about white men and men in general. They don't talk about white Christian men.
Right.
Well, I didn't ask you before because I thought you were bullshitting, and now I still think that. So I'm like,
what is the number one perpetrator of crime? Like sex wise.
Oh, sex wise, men. Yeah, by like a large majority.
Who's the largest majority of men in this country?
This is not how statistics work.
No, it's not.
This is not how statistics work, buddy.
Who's the number one?
Who's number one? I'm number one. Jesus Christ.
It's Christians. That's right.
This is not how statistics work.
Men.
I think you might be statistically illiterate. Can you show me the source that you looked at to figure this out?
Dude, I gotta go back onto Twitter and I gotta search through my fucking phone.
I mean, damn, if I make any strong claims, I'm always willing to provide the evidence I got for it,
Yeah. FBI statistics show that men, of course, are the number one.
Yeah, men. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't know where you got white Christian.
So why don't you? So it's interesting that you don't agree. What don't you agree about? Is it just because you don't have any proof?
No. So as an atheist, you should be familiar with like logical argumentation. You've provided a claim. I am challenging your claim. The burden of proof is on you to provide the evidence.
Sure. You should have let me know ahead of time so I could have all my fucking
That's
proof
fair.
ready for you.
Yeah,
for this
you know what?
conversation.
I could have let you know. That's on me.
We had 48 hours. Okay, so instead of hunting for that, the way I come about it is looking at statistics for crime, which include but are not limited to men. Then men based in categories of their religious affiliation. Then it's men based on their categories of political affiliation and the overlap of those. And of course, it's just
but you can't just overlay statistics like that.
So do you think it's not? So do you actually, when you look at, you can actually overlay some statistics because you can see a correlation in pattern over it. Absolutely. I guarantee you it's true, but it doesn't matter.
Forgive me if I don't take your guarantees as gospel.
Yeah, you don't have to take it for it. So I would wonder what do you think the number one group of abuse and crime is then?
Abuse and crime or crime?
Correct. Well, abuse is crime, but crime and abuse.
Okay, so crime,
I use
men.
abuse separate. I use abuse separately.
I think men, right? Probably white men.
Yeah,
because white men in America comprise the majority of men in America.
And the majority of white men in America are
white.
I know, Christians. I agree.
But the problem that I have here is that
so we don't have. I need to
see how the crimes committed match up to the religiosity of the offenders. That's what we would actually be looking at here. Is like religiosity of offenders compared to crimes committed. And like number of crimes committed. So if you can show me that, like I'll concede it. I happily will.
Christians as a whole make up about 2/3 of the inmate population in facilities where they work.
Inmate
Protestants
population?
on average comprise inmate population. So that's all you can go on, right? That's all you can go on in that specific thing. But that's
conviction.
Doing it. It's of course it is, right? And of course you would expect
crimes committed.
The number of
that is different.
You would expect the number of crimes committed to be more than the convictions, right?
Yeah.
And so you would expect that still to extrapolate out in the same broad
Not necessarily,
category. Yes, you
no.
absolutely would. You would think, wait, hold on. So that you would think you would think that there is a particular demographic that would shake its way out and have like a really big spike of
I don't
like,
know. I haven't
getting
seen
off
the
a crime.
data. You
And that
clearly
would-
have, but you won't show it to me.
I mean, oh, it's on my stream. This is Pew Research talking about the
You said it's on
religiosity
your
of
stream?
inmates. 51% Protestant, 15% Catholic. I mean, I can give you a link. It's Pew Research. Here
Sure.
you go.
Yeah, that would be great, actually.
Sure, but I mean, there's your first link. But yeah, I mean, this is just like every time we look at graphs like this, it has a right-wing bias, and every right-wing person
Okay, so
in America has a religious
the
foundation.
first thing at the top of this is from the perspective of the nation's professional prison chaplains, American state penitentiaries are a bustle of religious activity. More than 7 in 10 state prison chaplains say that efforts by inmates to proselytize or convert other inmates are either very common or somewhat common. So are they Christians when they
of
go?
course they talk to each other.
But
So there's Protestants
but
and
here's the thing,
Catholics
Jake.
and
if
other
they're not
groups.
Christians when they commit the crimes, but they convert after they go into prison, that doesn't count as a Christian committing the crime.
And then our recidivism rates are even
That
higher.
doesn't count as a Christian committing the crime if they weren't a Christian before they went in. And I think that there is a very high rate of people that convert to Christianity or Islam when in prison.
I disagree with the insinuation that these people were like atheists and then they.
I didn't say they were
converted.
atheists. Atheist is a strong claim. They could have been agnostic.
Okay, then what? They could have been agnostic criminals.
Yeah.
And
Why is
then
that
they
funny?
found Jesus.
Yeah,
Because
that's
most
actually
people
there's a
in
statistical likelihood according to the shit
There
that
is not
you
a
just linked
statistical
me.
likelihood.
Yes, it is
No,
common or
there's
somewhat
not.
common that inmates will try to convert other inmates.
Dude, it is absolutely not common.
You just linked me something that says it is. Did you just Google something and throw me a random link?
No.
So
This
the
is
first
exactly
paragraph-
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the first paragraph, it talks about inmates converting other inmates. But this has nothing to do with religiosity at the
efforts
time of the
by
committing of the
inmates to
crime.
proselytize or convert other inmates are either very common, 31%, which is. Did you know that 60% of them are? This is the other side. So that's how math works. So when I said 60-something% of them are Protestant, what is the rest of that percentage? Like of 100,
Were those
how much
people
is
Protestant
65?
when they committed the crimes that they were put in prison for?
Okay.
Were they?
So if we're only converting 30% of non-Protestant Christian, like this is such a stretch. It's crazy
not
for
a
you to say that.
stretch. Your claim,
Yes, it
was that the
absolutely is a
majority of
stretch.
crimes in
Your
America are
claim is
committed by
definitely
white
true.
Christian men. But the
Yeah,
problem is, if
white
they don't
Christian men
convert to
are
Christianity
definitely
until
the
they
number
get
one
into
perpetrator
prison, now
of
you're going to
crime.
talk over me because
no matter
you know
how
I'm
mad
wrong.
you get.
It's not about getting mad. I think that you're wrong, and I'm trying to explain why.
You're not.
Your
You-
claim
you
was
don't-
that white
you
Christian
can't
men
say- you
commit
can't
the
say that
majority
you
of crime
have-
in America.
you literally-
and
no,
I
no, you
asked you
can't
why that
pretend
was,
that
and what you
agnostic
provided
people-
me was
you
a
cannot
piece
pretend-
of
you cannot
writing that
pretend
says that they convert to
agnostic
Christianity when they're in
people-
prison. So I asked
Right.
you,
You
were they
cannot-
Christian at the
you
time they
cannot
committed the crimes?
Pretend. No, yeah, they were definitely Christians because most people in America are Christians. And you can see this extrapolated
I
through
think you have a
the
I think you have
demographics,
a
the
big
demographics,
misunderstanding of
the
how
demo-
statistics work.
the demographic how many people are religious? Religious affiliation US.
What does this have to do with
And then
what
you-
I asked you?
And then you look at it again.
You know, so this
And
is
wouldn't
it's
you know it?
incredibly bad
Wouldn't you know
faith
it's
when you're it's incredibly bad
63%,
faith when
man.
you're challenged on a
It's
claim and a
63%.
flaw is pointed
You
out
are
that you can't
seeing an
defend
exact-
to just continue defending the claim rather than admit you were wrong. I admitted I was wrong
not wrong.
already once
So
this
every
stream.
single-
You're incapable of doing it.
So every single time we look at the statistics of who commits crimes, you see an overlap of white Christian males every single
Okay,
time.
if it's
You see
every
it.
single time, how come the only thing you provided
Yes.
me had nothing to do with that?
Because I didn't spend time compiling
Well, but if
sources
it's
for
every
you before
single
this, 'cause you
time,
didn't
surely
ask
it
me
should be
for them
really
before
easy to
this.
find something, right?
I could go look for more, but
right
I'm not
now,
gonna.
no. I feel like if you're going to make that strong of a claim, you should probably have all of the evidence, like before someone challenges you on it.
It's not me making a strong claim right now. It was fucking 3 or 4 days ago, and now
Yeah.
you're like, "Hey, buddy, do
It
you
was
have
2
your
days ago,
documents?"
according to
I
you.
know.
And it is a
Yeah.
I don't know, understand why it's so you're so incredulous to the fact that it's a strong claim. It is. White Christian male statistic, that is a very big statistic to claim that that's the majority of crimes committed. But see, my problem is
is the crime.
what you
It
linked
is.
me talks about inmates
Yeah.
converting other inmates. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they were Christian at the time they committed the crimes, which means that they wouldn't count for your argument. You're trying to superimpose the majority of people in America being Christian on top of the majority of men the majority of crimes are committed by men. I don't think you can do that.
So every time we cross-check this for any sort of demographic information, because of course they don't do direct studies on do Christians commit crimes at higher rates, because of course society is largely Christian, and then why would they do that? That would be an atheist-funded thing for sure, and it would be hard to get out the door. So every time we have to study this, it's always the overlapping sociological factors, and that doesn't seem to satisfy you. And that's interesting.
No,
as someone,
your claim I don't feel
definitely
is supported.
Interesting. I don't think your counterclaim is supported at all, and it's all conjecture.
I mean, hey, that's up to the people watching.
Well, okay, I guess I could just.
I think you're being incredibly bad faith here because you're not addressing my criticism at all. You're just
being worse
like
faith.
grandstanding and
I think you're being worse
me
faith.
to try and prevent, trying to avoid actually answering me.
That's projection. You've been trying to do that the whole time. You can't just say, I think it's agnostics. You can't just say that.
I actually don't know.
You did just say that. Oh, I just don't know.
No, what I said was they could be agnostic and then convert to Christianity when they enter prison. From what I understand, prison inmates have a high rate of conversion to either Christianity or Islam.
What do you think the more likely answer is? What do you think the most likely answer is?
I wouldn't possibly know. The only thing I know is that the majority of crimes seem to be committed by white men.
What do you? And according to prison statistics,
how many Christians are in America?
White Christian men are definitely the number one population of prisoners in America.
Correct.
And you think it's plausible?
Correct.
You think it's plausible that all the Christians, or at least a majority of them, enough to make a dent?
Incredulously doesn't yes. I've already told you that. Yes, I think it's possible. Absolutely, even plausible that they convert to Christianity after they enter prison and not before.
Why? Please defend that position.
Because prison is kind of like fucked up. I think that a lot of people look for hope and look for sort of like light, some sort of something good to look forward to. I think a lot of them probably end up regretting their actions.
Christianity is a good thing to look forward to?
It's not the worst thing, especially if you're a criminal.
Why?
Because Christianity has some decent lessons. Obviously, I'm a fan of Jesus.
What is a decent lesson from
Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's the golden rule.
That's not a lesson from Christianity. That is a lesson included in Christianity. Yeah? It doesn't originate from that.
Okay. But it's in Christianity, correct? So if you hadn't learned it from anywhere else, but you learned it from the Bible, you could probably properly claim that you learned it from a Christian book, right?
Right, but that's not the only source of it. They've heard that before, right?
Except I don't think that matters to like convicts that freshly convert, you know?
So why do you think they freshly convert at such high rates in prison? Why is it so successful there?
Well, so like religion offers like a feeling of togetherness.
No,
I will fully admit that I'm just guessing, but you asked me why do I think, so I'm telling you why I think. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything I'm not going to stake anything to this. Okay. I think that like prison is pretty shitty. I think that a lot of people look for like a sense of like brotherhood, a sense of like companionship, a sense of like humans are social animals. So like it makes sense that if you're not like in the same way that like a lot of prisoners tend to gravitate towards gangs, although I think that's more of like a survival thing, honestly. But I could be wrong on that. I think that it makes sense that like people who are freshly convicted, especially if they're remorseful of their crimes, might turn to religion to seek some sort of penance. Like we can both agree that like there's no sort of ultimate penance that's going to come to them. Like at least I don't think so. But like I believe that like there are probably people who are like looking for some sort of like hope or like restoration or like forgiveness that they don't think they can get on earth, and maybe they look towards God, you know?
Mm-hmm. And so you don't think those people were like, as an atheist, nominally culturally Christian before they went in there and had like family members that were Christian and went to church when they were growing up? You think that's...
I don't know.
It's interesting that you can't... So you know that about the majority of America.
You are aware of how the burden of proof works, right?
Sure. You know that... So we can just think about it. You know that most people in America experience religious upbringing.
I mean, I did.
So and it's not just that you did, you know that the majority of Americans do.
Yeah, including me.
Right. And so we can infer that the majority of people just have a religious background where their parents at least were religious and they went to church and are open to the teachings of a church.
Do you think that like just going to church
to the process?
You
I think a lot of Christians think that going to church makes you a Christian.
See, but the problem here is I asked you what you think.
I think that's enough. Yeah, I think if you identify as a Christian, you are one.
I would agree with that, but I asked if just going to church would make like if you think that makes someone a Christian, because
you don't even have to go to church to go to Christian.
Well, sure, I would agree with that. I just think it's wholly possible for someone to attend church and not be a Christian. I did that myself for a few years before I came out to my family as an atheist.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's the experience of like. I don't think you can say that that's the experience of most people in America.
I don't know how we would go about proving that, but like I'm not asserting that either. I'm talking about myself.
Right. So you keep floating out things to make like your floaty, non-committal, not a counter-argument, but it all sounds really flimsy.
It wasn't even a counter-argument. I was specifically challenging your like overlaying of the majority of religiosity in America being Christianity to the majority of crimes being committed by men. I don't think that's statistically
because most prisoners and most. I guess we can do a broader study on the religiosity of offending criminals. And
prior
luckily,
to conviction, that's probably what I would be looking for. But I don't think such a study's been done because I looked. I couldn't find one.
Right, they're not going to do a study like
that.
Well,
then you probably shouldn't be making the claim that white Christian men commit most of the crimes.
Disagree. There are plenty of data points that I would be very happy.
Plenty of claims that you seem confident to make without any evidence. So
I mean, you might not have the confidence. I absolutely do.
I know you do.
Yeah. So are you an agnostic or an atheist?
I'm an atheist.
Like
you're at least with all the religions I've been shown so far. I think it's the meme, right?
No, but I mean, like, you're not even like usually some guys with your position like this would typically.
I'm a rock hard atheist.
Rock hard, but usually you would find yourself being in the agnostic camp. So I'm wondering what the difference is because this is like you can't prove a negative type situation.
Yeah, no, well, okay, I see what you're saying. So to clarify, I think that it is more likely that there is no God. I'm like 80-20. Or probably closer to 90. Probably closer to 9. Probably 100%. Probably closer to like 90-10. But because like I'm an intelligent person, a skeptic, I try to leave that possibility open because I don't think that I've experienced all of reality, so I don't feel confident making claims on the summation of it.
Yeah, so I think that's weak, and I understand why you are like I'm a very bright boy for having like you say a hard atheist, but that's agnostic, man.
Yeah,
that's agnostic.
That's fine. Okay. So I guess I'm not a hard atheist. I'm a half chub.
I would definitely agree you're not a hard atheist.
Half chub.
Yeah, at least. So I don't think that it is compelling to say that I can conceive of a God being the progenitor of the universe. Therefore, it's reasonable to assume it's one of the real options that are out there. So it's just not compelling. I just don't think that's really what it is.
You can say there is no God until you've definitively proven that, and if you can't definitively prove it,
think
then
there's
you shouldn't
no
be claiming
reason. So you can't. But this is like Russell's teapot. That's crazy. You're backtracking to Bertrand Russell's teapot here. You can't prove that there's not a teapot, porcelain little teapot with hot tea in it, rotating around the earth.
Yeah.
So you believe in it?
No.
You believe that it's possible. You're agnostic on the teapot.
Because I evaluate it through probability, right? So how many teapots have there been floating around the earth in the past? I don't think any. So I'm confident in saying there's most likely not any teapots floating around the earth.
Okay, so there's never been any gods anywhere. So there's most likely not any gods, right?
Yeah, that's what I believe. I did say that. I'm just leaving open the possibility in case I'm wrong.
Except you're 80-90. Are you 80-90 on the
fucking teapot? No, I'm 90-10.
You're 90-10 on the teapot?
99-1. 99.9 to 0.1.
With hot
because I don't think it's intelligent or intellectually honest to claim that you know something with absolute certainty.
I 100% know with intellectual honesty that there is not a hot pot of tea rotating around the Earth in orbit.
No, you don't.
I know that there isn't.
Are you in orbit right now to verify that?
I don't.
Do you have someone in orbit right now to verify that? This is
Leprechaun guy. No.
I don't know what leprechaun guy means.
Are leprechauns possibly real because you can't falsify them?
This stupid fuck thinks their probability of a fiction being real. Yo, is Harry Potter possibly real, bitch boy? God, your chat is so fucking mean, dude. You're gonna make me cry because I am a moron. I'm sorry.
So leprechauns though, do they have a possibility of existing?
I don't know. What do we call a leprechaun here?
That's crazy. Yes, you should just say no.
What
Of course not.
What are we calling
Leprechauns
a leprechaun?
with their little pot of gold.
You talking
and
about
their,
like the little
their
mystical
rainbow.
beings? Probably not. No.
Probably
Yeah,
not. But
probably
100%, right? You 100% are convicted. There are no leprechauns.
Your chat's funny.
That's so easy. I can't believe you're a leprechaun guy. Why? Why allow yourself? Why? I don't understand. It's not intellectually honest. It's just
called
like
skepticism.
Well, I guess
I figured you were familiar with it. Yeah.
It's not skeptical to say to yourself, if I can conceive of something, then it is possible.
Why not?
That's why the Harry Potter comment came up. Can Harry Potter be real?
I don't think so. Probably not.
Not probably. Definitely not. Harry Potter and wizards aren't there, and you can't like sneak in to a secret door to get into the wizarding
like
tower.
Secretive or whatever, but I already said probably not. Why is it such a big issue for you that I'm not willing to commit 100%? I don't think it's intellectually honest.
That you're not willing to commit that the work of fiction Harry Potter is definitely not real is a problem intellectually with yourself. Yes. I definitely know that Harry Potter
Do you think you know everything?
The Wizarding
Do you think you know everything that encapsulates the entire knowledge of the universe? You know all of that?
Of course not.
Okay, so then
I don't have to know everything to know that Harry
on
Potter
the entirety
isn't
of the
real
universe and all
and
of
to be
space-time?
100% convicted on that truth. That's not like me being a dummy for being like, Joanne
I didn't call
wrote
you
the
a dummy.
story.
Your chat's
It's
the one calling me a
obviously
dumb
not
fuck.
true.
I never called you dumb. You're the one
You
insulting
being
me.
upset about them
I'm
being
not
calling you
I'm
dumb.
not upset. That stuff doesn't bother me.
You keep looking
funny,
at it. You
though.
got to tune it out, my dude.
Well, I mean, or you could
You gotta
moderate
tune
your
it out.
chat.
We don't even have everyone here. I could moderate my chat.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Didn't you weren't you the guy that was like on Hippy Dippy going
be
after
honest.
Destiny for like being mean on Twitter or something?
No. There's such a difference between saying like, "Hey, man, this idea is really dumb," and then like literally being a fucking misogynist all the time. Like, I
Me?
definitely
Are
don't
you
think that
accusing
your
me of being a
ideas.
misogynist?
No, you brought, dude.
Were you talking about
you brought up
Destiny?
him being a misogynist. Yes.
I don't know if he's a misogynist or not, but I'm not really here to talk
Oh
about
my
Destiny. I was asking because it seems odd that someone who took such umbrage with the way that he interacts with people on Twitter wouldn't also be moderating their chat to the same extent that they're trying to
Thanksgiving
hold
during
him
that
to.
chat. He spent that Thanksgiving telling someone to kill themselves all day over neo pronouns, which was
I don't know if that's what he
said.
said, but if you took such umbrage,
He literally
if you took such umbrage with that, why are you comfortable letting your chat engage in similar dialogue? Why?
We put the tweet up. We talked about it. This is not a good thing. Yeah, I mean,
if I saw the tweet and it was shitty, I would condemn it. But it's interesting that you don't hold yourself to the same standard. I'm not defending
absolutely hold
anybody.
myself to
I'm
the
just
same
asking you to hold your
standard.
chat to the same standard you demanded Destiny obey.
They are not telling you to kill yourself.
Oh, okay,
And
yes.
if
They're
they did,
not
they would
telling
be
me
banned.
to kill myself. They're calling me a bitch boy and a dumb fuck, though. Would you be okay with Destiny call people out on Twitter?
He calls people dumb fucks and bitch
Okay,
boys
but
all the time.
are you okay with
definitely, we were definitely within respectable parlance for shit talking.
So you're okay with it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, cool. Then I take it back. Tell them
Okay.
to be more clever, though. Bitch boy and dumb fuck are not very creative.
All right. Well, they can say whatever they want, and I'll be the clever one. And you can just. That's not what their job is.
You think women should divorce their Republican husbands?
Are you just going through my Twitter? Yes.
Well, didn't you
yes,
ask me if I had
absolutely.
political contentions? No, I have a document right here
Well,
with some
you moved on.
contentions that I took.
You moved on from maybe leprechauns are real pretty quick twice now.
I don't
You've
think
tried.
I ever said
That's okay.
maybe leprechauns are real. I said they're probably not, most likely not real.
100% leprechauns aren't real. That's pretty fine to say.
Sure,
That's
if you want to say
scary,
that,
is
I'm
it?
not going to go after you. I don't see why you're going after me for not saying that.
Because you don't need to entertain every idea.
I don't.
That's another liberal problem. There we go. Another liberal problem is you're like,
I don't entertain every idea as a liberal either.
Leprechauns and not leprechauns may not be comparably true or false, but it is enough true that I'm still going to keep it on the table in my brain.
Yeah, I think there's a possibility of maybe anything.
That's dumb. No, you should be able to dismiss some shit as non-possibility. Like, I don't understand why you don't dismiss some things.
Okay,
outhand like that. That doesn't make any sense. It's not
really
intellectually
you agree with me
smart
here,
at all.
but I think we might be talking
really
past
don't.
each other a little bit. So if you're comfortable with me saying, when I say most likely not, for your ears, that should hear as definitely not. I'm not comfortable making those kinds of strong claims, but if I feel like we're not that far apart here, and you're like nitpicking on a single epistemological issue. I don't know why.
I disagree that it's a nitpick because it seems to spread into every other part of how you think, and this is why it's interesting.
You don't know
to me. This is
anything
why I asked in the
about
first
me.
place.
How do you know how I think?
We've been talking for like an hour. I don't know. I don't know you personally, but I know enough of how you are asking me questions to get to how you're thinking a little bit. Have you not?
In one conversation? God, you're really good, huh?
I guess so. Yeah, I'm definitely
dumber than you. But no, do you think women should divorce their Republican husbands?
I absolutely do.
Okay. Republican women too?
Republican women should divorce their Republican husbands? Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because to be a Republican you need to be a misogynist, almost certainly, or some other kind of.
Why do you say that?
Do you think there are? I mean, there might be Republican feminists out there. Do you think there are?
Yeah, there's tons. But why do you say that? Because now you're backing off like immediately. But I'm curious why you said that in the first place.
Why I think that conservative lifestyles are. So conservative lifestyles are inherently patriarchal and usually misogynist and anti-feminist.
Inherently,
I would be shocked for you to find.
I don't think those are the same thing.
I can't think of one that doesn't involve itself in modern patriarchy and anti.
Does that mean that it doesn't exist?
Maybe.
I get. Wait, I'm sorry. Exists. I guess to you that does mean it doesn't exist. If you can't conceive of it, it's not.
Show me
real.
where it exists. I can absolutely conceive of a Republican that fancies himself a feminist because he lets his wife go to work or something. Yeah, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. My
parents are Republicans, and my mom makes more than my dad. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, that doesn't make your dad a feminist.
No, but it also doesn't mean that he forbids her from going to work. I don't think all Republicans are trad cons.
No, of course not. It was a joke. Yeah. I didn't think that all Republicans didn't allow their wives.
I can't tell what is and isn't a joke with you.
That's weird.
Not really.
I think so, for sure. I think it's because well, this is where it comes from. It comes from a genetic fallacy. You have some kind of presupposition about me, and you just don't know how to fucking talk.
I mean, I'm basing these off of tweets you made. I asked a question about the video that you put out. I don't think... the only conceptions I have are off of the little of your content I've consumed. Thankfully, little.
Yeah. I mean... preconceptions, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's preconceptions based on content you put out. So if it's not how you want to be perceived, don't put that content out.
I'm happy with all that stuff.
Okay, then don't call it. Don't don't accuse me of like having.
What I'm going to say is that I don't
irrelevant or whatever.
I don't. Can you believe that not every single person that interacts with me has your position, and so it's not my normal experience to have someone with your demeanor and take like this, so you could expect my experience
think there are a
to be one of a lot more
who
support.
Take umbrage with a lot of your takes. Are you a capitalist or a socialist?
The majority of people? I'm definitely a socialist.
Yeah, I think the majority of America probably would take issue with socialism. But if you're being sarcastic,
I think the majority of people would have a problem with the title of socialist, and I think a majority of people agree with my policies.
Okay, but are you a socialist?
I mean, nominally, but I mean, I don't think we can get to state socialism in my lifetime.
Okay, based. For what it's worth, I do think that socialism is probably like a more moral economic system. I used to be a socialist myself. I just kind of moved away from it, or I'm not as confident on it anymore because I used to think that there were only...
As confident.
Yeah, I used to think there were only like certain problems. I felt there were only certain problems that could only be solved by socialism. And there's a lot of positions that I previously had that I'm not so confident about. Such as like
so can I ask about this schism in your life first?
Schism?
You keep bringing this up. Why do you keep having this
short
fucking like
goblin girl moment?
Oh man, so Vosh having a short stack goblin made you reconsider your political positions?
No, Vosh exposing his lolicon porn folder and then denying it for 2 days and then going, well, guys, it looks like one of these artists maybe would have been, definitely had me reconsidering some of my more prior convictions, or rather just the strength of some of them as well.
So why, I'm interested in why, hold on, wait. So why, this is a genetic fallacy. Why would Vosh having questionable goblin
I'm glad
porn
you
on his
agree.
PC, why would that mean that any of the ideas he had outside of that were wrong?
I didn't say that they were wrong. I just said that I sort of took them
Why would
from
that-
him wholesale previously, and I wasn't comfortable doing that and seeing like how blatantly
This-
dishonest he was willing to be.
Are you familiar with Karlin Borisenko?
You mean the Hitler went to heaven lady? Of course I am.
Okay, so she stopped being a Democrat because she went to a Republican
I'm a
rally and they were
Democrat.
really
I don't know
nice
what the
to
fuck
her.
you're talking about.
This has similar vibes.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm a Democrat. I'm voting for Joe Biden. I'm a center-left liberal. I would be nominally progressive
I don't think you heard
if
what I said.
progressives weren't
I
fucking
don't think you heard what I
nuts.
said. I don't think you heard what I said. I'm not calling you a Republican. I'm saying this has similar vibes to when Karlin switched political parties because she enjoyed a political rally more than when she was doing it with the
No, this had nothing to
Democrats.
do with me enjoying someone else more. It had to do with me seeing an example of like
Right.
blatant hypocrisy and dishonesty from a streamer that I had a sort of parasocial like idolization of, and it was a wake up
Wow.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the same
Okay, so I'm
way that
seeing-
when I
I'm
started to
seeing some
deconstruct my
overlapping
faith,
things going on.
the same way that when I started to deconstruct
Yeah.
my faith, it was sort of a wake up moment for me, and it made me reevaluate a lot of my prior
Cool.
convictions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think him having goblin porn should make you a center-left liberal because it doesn't make any
No,
of the
I reevaluated some of my positions. I looked at where I might
Okay,
fall, and
which positions did you reevaluate based on the goblin porn?
So the like full-throated support of trans people was one because it seems like that's not as an agreed upon thing as Vosh seemed to like portray, that there is still some debate
Why
and
do you need
discussion
it-
going on, and I feel
That's
like it's interesting to
I want to
probably-
stop here.
Yeah, it's your stream.
Oh, I want to know why it needs to, like, you seem to have this idea that needed to be like voted on to be right,
So I was a creationist before I deconverted.
right?
I was staunchly anti-evolution. And then when I deconverted, I reevaluated whether or not evolution was a more likely progenitor for the human species. And now I would say I'm an evolutionist. So a falling out
sounds like a
with
creationist
a
title.
falling out. Well, okay, fine. A falling out with a previous like a big part of my life, or a big focal point in my life. And I would say my religious upbringing was way more of a focal point than fucking Vosh. That was like a year and a half long, whatever. But it was something I had been previously super confident in. I reevaluated and came to a different conclusion.
Right. Okay. Because he had goblin porn, you support trans people less fervently.
No. I'm just not as full-throated on some of the more extreme ends of trans support.
Right.
Yeah. Because and you know what? Here's the thing. I haven't gotten to like specifically looking into any of those positions yet. Right now I'm looking into some other stuff. I'm currently reading a book on Weimar Germany. I'm painting some fucking Warhammer minis. I haven't gotten to the trans stuff yet. I still identify as a trans ally. I'm still in support of adults doing whatever the fuck they want. And for right now, I'm okay with kids having access to gender therapy and puberty blockers. But like, and if later down the line when I evaluate that position, turns out that every single position that Vosh had actually was not only like 100% scientifically like accepted, but also socially accepted, then I would probably adopt those positions again.
So, I have never had someone else's non sequitur action affect my beliefs or convictions that I already agreed with them on, which seems weird. This also reminds me of a guy I used to work with that was also a creationist. And in 2012, when they found the Higgs boson particle, he's like, I'm an atheist.
But I already agree with Vosh on being a trans ally to trans adults and to trans kids. It's just some of the more like extreme stuff.
I mean,
like
I don't even
the
100%
multiple
necessarily
genders,
agree with
the,
Vosh. I'm just saying, like it's
the
just weird.
Trans people in sports.
That's a
These are
weird
things that
reaction, in my
these
opinion.
are things. Okay, I mean that's your opinion. I think that it's more intellectually honest to go. Okay, well, it's very clear that I took a lot of these positions wholesale from someone who might not have been the best like person to take all of these positions from. Maybe I should start thinking for myself and reevaluate some of these from a base level.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It just
very tolerant of you. Are you sure you're not a liberal?
Yeah. I'm definitely not a liberal. I'm fine with that. It's just a funny way. It's just a funny way.
What's funny about it?
He has goblin porn, and therefore his the other stuff.
See, this is the thing. This is the
wrong.
thing. I don't know if you heard me say. It wasn't just that he had
Yeah, I know.
lolicon
You're just like,
porn.
I took it wholesale.
It was that
you didn't look at anybody else talking about this stuff. He was only Vosh the whole time.
And I think that's the case for a lot of people in his community.
Can you explain the severity of the parasocial nature? Because you brought this up as like a really big moment for you.
As in, I consumed his content on a daily basis. I took the majority of my political opinions from him. I thought he was a very good online debater. I thought that he was a very good online figure to follow and to look up to. And to be clear, it wasn't just the porn, because if he had revealed it, owned it immediately, said, yeah, this was sus as shit, I shouldn't have had this, it's really weird, I'm sorry, guys, that would have been one thing. It was that he repeated this, unbeknownst to me, because I hadn't really been aware of it, cycle that he engages in repeatedly, which is does something or says something dumb really strongly, defends it very strongly, then a few days later realizes he was a dumbass about it, and then tries to backtrack halfway so he can still maintain some sort of strong stance on his position, but also win back some of the credibility of his audience. But I saw it as I saw this was one that I was like on VGG for, like I was on the stream, I watched him close it out, and I'm
identifying something. You can continue, but I'm identifying something in your experience.
What are you identifying? Don't psychoanalyze me without letting me in. Come on.
All right. So, did you deconvert prior to Vosh?
It's like, yes, I definitely did. I'm trying to like give you an exact. I deconverted when like it was like my last year of high school was when I started to have like religious like doubts about my. I was a Lutheran previously, but like a more not like the more. Honestly, I was probably closer to like a Roman Catholic in like practice, maybe more strict on some certain things. Our Lutheran denomination was pretty like traditional. But I started to have some religious doubts when I was like 17. And then once I got to college and I sort of had I know that this is a very stereotypical story, but like once I got to college and I had a little bit more freedom to kind of like explore other ideas and think about things for myself, I started to have stronger doubts. And then I think I read God Is Not Great when I was 20. And then I started, I'm a big fan of Matt Dillahunty. God Is Not Great, Hitchens. That's a Hitchens book.
Friend of the show.
That's a shame to hear. I figured he'd have better standards, but I mean...
No, he says that I've done one of the best breakdowns of Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson does breakdowns all on his own without anybody's help just fine.
Absolutely, but you like mine. Yeah, we're friends.
Well, that's cool.
He's a bright guy. I've been on the show.
I'm a big fan, and I like his new beard.
So
you look very Abraham.
So it seems that you really attached to Vosh though, and can you explain that to me?
I think that a lot of younger people have like a tendency to be more extreme with certain like political bents once they're like out and they have that freedom. I think that I don't want to classify it as like a reactionary impulse, but like it feels like a similar type of thing maybe where like people, once you have that freedom to express whatever, you just run as far as you can in the opposite direction, just to kind of like see. And I think that Vosh was like sort of that. But that was after I got out of college. That was probably like a year and a half ago. I had heard about him from the J.K. Rowling drama. But I started watching him, it would have been like mid 2022 because I was starting to get more into politics. I was sort of drifting off of like the I used to be more of like an anti-theist, but I was sort of drifting away from
definitely an anti-theist.
Yeah, I know. I was starting to drift away from that, and then I was like, oh, politics are kind of interesting. And I was into like I had watched all of the Hitchens debates, like the classic Hitchens debates. That's what led me to Matt Dillahunty. Yeah, they're not great. Hitchens is not I love the guy, but like fuck, I thought he was so cool when I was like 20. I'm like, oh, he's owning all the Christians. All sophistry. It's so shitty. But that's what led me to Dillahunty, and obviously he's a debater of like, much higher caliber. And then I started watching a lot of his content, all of the Atheist Debates Project.
He's a full-throated trans ally.
Yeah, I mean, I said I was a trans ally. I just said that I'm a little more hesitant on the sports stuff and the some of the kids stuff.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a guy. I mean, you seem to be.
Yeah, but see, I just told you that like I previously had someone that I not just respected but held a parasocial level of respect for. Took positions from him without considering for myself.
And it like hurt you though when he did that.
It wasn't that. What are you talking about, Vosh? Right? Just because it wasn't that it hurt me. It was just a very blatant display of like willing dishonesty.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess if you want to say it hurt me in the sense that like it felt like my
be-
trust had been violated, the trust that I had put in him as a creator I consumed, then you could probably say that.
Did you
but
feel a similar thing with church when they were like,
no,
we taught you all this shit, and there was
I
like
had
you didn't have an angry atheist phase?
I did, but I also suffered like specific religious and physical abuse growing up. So
Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. Like through the church?
through not
You
so
don't have
much
to talk
through
about
the
it if you don't
church.
want
It
to.
was
It's
more
okay.
a family dynamic. We were very, very strict Lutherans, and I prefer not to talk about it. It's kind of private.
That's fine. Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, we have a lot
however,
of that here. So
you did ask about the angry atheist phase. That was what led me from Hitchens to Dillahunty to Vosh.
So I've experienced some people talk to me like you're talking to me. And there seems to be a rubber band effect happening where you get burned by the church, you get burned by the faith, you get, it's got some bad experiences. We hitch up with Vosh. You
My
get burned by that
ideology,
shit.
philosophy, and politics are not based around spite, if that's what you're trying to imply.
I don't think you're nearly as spiteful as someone like Destiny, for instance. No, I don't think it's spite. I think what it is
Yeah, I'm not.
what? How?
I'm not interested in
Dude.
talking about Destiny.
Dude, he's so spiteful. You need to.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
He'll swap positions just because he doesn't like somebody sometimes.
I don't
He's
know
done
if that's
that.
true, but then again, like I don't really want to talk about Destiny.
Okay.
Honestly, I've watched.
Well, he
I've
would
watched more
disagree with
actual
himself from 4 years
I watched
ago.
more of you
Makes
and
more money
Actual
now, though,
Justice
so-
Warrior this week than Destiny.
Actual Justice Warrior is a fucking dumbass.
He
That
seems
guy
pretty
is so
smart. He knows a lot about like legal proceduralism that I don't.
Oh my god, no, dude. You need to. I think a thing also is the aesthetic of intelligence.
That you engage
Is
in, yeah, it's
definitely-
very frustrating.
The aesthetic of intelligence is something that you seem to like to attach to as well.
I don't have an aesthetic. I
there
am
seems-
intelligent.
You see what I mean? Like you have this like front about you
It's not a
that is
front.
like very, very like I gotta fucking.
No, this is how I
gotta
talk. This is
show
how I
people,
talk to people
man.
that I expect to treat me in bad faith.
Right. So I understand what you're doing, and I've seen it many times.
What
and
am I
there's
doing?
yeah, there's like a angsty
I'm not angry,
sort
dude.
of an sort of like
I took a
I said
toke. I took a
angy.
toke before I called in. I'm chill.
I'm happy,
Had some
man.
chicken
So
tendies.
definitely upsetty spaghetti.
No, not upsetty
For sure.
spaghetti.
It's definitely I've never heard anyone say, no, I'm not upsetty spaghetti in a more upsetty spaghetti.
Okay, whatever
we're
you say,
saying
man.
so
I'm
much
so
spaghetti,
mad.
dude. It's not like, dude, I can't.
Yeah, I'm real
You don't
mad
have to be
right
fucking
now.
seething mad to have like
I don't
obviously an
feel like
attitude and
I'm
like a
that
weird
mad,
vibe.
But like, sure, whatever you want, buddy. If it makes you feel better.
Okay, you're not a teenager. I know you have like this is like teenager
Yeah, I'm
vibes.
15.
That's weird.
That's how I was able to get the beard.
This is actually like I feel like I walked open to your room. I was like, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" You're like, "Hey, bud, how you doing?" Like,
If you walked into my room and
I'm
opened
literally-
if you walked into my room and opened up the door, I would call the police. I would call that law enforcement. You're so afraid of supporting.
that's not a funny joke. It's stupid. I don't know, man.
So
I think you want to run in a counter direction, and a lot of this is LARP and cope.
how
in my
is this?
opinion. I think you
how
want
is
to.
it a counter
I think you're trying to
direction?
adopt. I think you're trying to adopt the aesthetic of a really smart fella.
I don't adopt aesthetics. I
you
am
hope-
really smart.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I think it's definitely.
Don't
a thing where
psychoanalyze
it's interesting.
me, you asshole. You couldn't
The-
even bring out the
the
corn
dicho-
suit for me.
The dichotomy
You
of
don't get to psychoanalyze me if you're not
being
wearing a corn suit. That's not how this works.
The dichotomy of you being non-committal towards whether
I guess
leprechauns
there's
could be
corn.
real and you being a really smart guy is really funny to me.
Why? I think it's more
I appreciate
intellectually
that
honest.
about you. I know you do, and someday
See,
I
my
suspect
issue
you'll either
is
be a
that I
right-wing
was very
grifter and
intellectually
we'll talk
honest with the
again.
way that I was speaking and
I
everything.
disagree.
And when
I
you
really
said, no,
disagree.
you should be 100% confident, but you never told me why.
You should be. 100% confident that there are no leprechauns?
That there are none right
There's
now
never
or
been.
never
There's
will
never
be.
been.
So if I find a planet,
trillion
if I find a
years-
planet in the Alpha Centauri galaxy
Yeah.
that has leprechauns
Yep.
on it, you would concede?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Then I think we agree. Like I said, I just think that we use different terms to express the same level
But you
of
won't,
confidence.
so I'm 100% fine with saying that they don't exist. So all of that's fine. Yes, if you travel intergalactically.
How do you know that I won't?
And I know that you will not intergalactically travel to find leprechauns. I'm 100% confident in that.
Okay.
All right. How do I know that you won't do it? Because that'd be magic.
I mean, I
That
am
would be a
Jesus.
magical
I can
thing
do
to
whatever
do.
the fuck I want.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any more things you could divorce your Republican husband because they're bad husbands and you shouldn't
Wait,
do that?
why are they bad husbands? What if you want to be in a patriarchal marriage?
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, that's interesting. Why do you think a woman would want to be in patriarchy?
There's probably a bunch of reasons.
You say that a lot.
Yeah,
Probably a lot of
so
stuff.
if they were raised like Christian, then it's probably something they desire. If they are
so if they were raised
who's,
Christian, would you say that they chose to be in a patriarchy?
If they chose to be in a patriarchal marriage?
Do you believe in indoctrination?
Are you asking if they chose to be in a patriarchal marriage?
Right. Is that a choice? Is that choosing?
I think that you choose who you marry unless you're in a specific cult or sect of Christianity, yeah. Or other religions.
Every sect of Christianity is patriarchal.
Yeah. Do you think that every Christian woman from a patriarchal sect of Christianity marries a patriarchal Christian?
No.
Oh, okay. So then you admit that there are women who are raised in patriarchal systems that might choose not to go along with the patriarchy.
Right. So
they choose something different.
Do you think that someone that is choosing making religious choices, because you can make secular choices because the real world exists, right? You think someone making religious choices is choosing? Because I don't think that's choice.
I don't understand what you mean by secular and religious choice. Can you explain that for me?
So a Christian can make secular choices like not consider her religion when she chooses to marry, right? That's a secular choice. It's not a secular choice to choose to listen to your religious convictions and make choices on that because they're not real and they are indoctrinated into you. You wouldn't have gotten to them through natural means. They are not secular. So if someone's
parents aren't Christian, but they go to church and they decide to continue to attend, you would call that indoctrination?
I would definitely call it indoctrination to teach your child Christianity.
That's not what I said.
By taking them to church.
No, that's not what I said. You need to listen carefully to what I'm saying. If your parents are not Christian and do not attend church, but you you decide independent of them to attend church, have you been indoctrinated?
Yeah. Yeah, you've been indoctrinated when you get there.
I mean, I just disagree. I think that you make a choice to go to the church.
So I think converting to Christianity would be...
So, for example, I think I was indoctrinated into Christianity. Like, I was, from birth, it was like a very, very big part of my life. But I also think that there are people
like a child choosing to go to a
well, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would like. I would say a child makes a choice. That's definitely indoctrination.
So that's gonna be like a series.
I would say like a series of events can probably make that choice.
So the series of events that would lead a teenager there would be like what peer pressure and like asking them to go, and then would be
or a desire for community.
Okay, so
or a desire
listen,
for religious
can you indoctrinate a teenager? Can you indoctrinate a teenager into something?
Absolutely.
So yes, I would consider indoctrination to teach religion to a teenager.
Okay, but when we were talking about indoctrination earlier, it was specifically to do with parents indoctrinating your children, right?
Parents aren't the only people that can indoctrinate a child.
Yeah, when we were talking about it just now, it was about parents. You acknowledged the framing of this several times.
Well, yeah, and then you.
So we can talk about whether or not the church indoctrinates people, which duh. But I don't think that someone whose parents aren't religious and don't go to church making a choice to go to church is indoctrination.
Okay, so if two atheists have a kid and take their kid to church?
No. If their kid chooses to go to a church.
Right.
And actually,
right.
I don't know.
That kid would be indoctrinated by the church.
I would almost argue that there's a likelihood of indoctrination in the reverse way, because if they're staunch atheists that are very anti-church and a kid goes to a church to be like, the whole rebellious teenager shit, I think that in a way that the way they brought up that child did sort of indoctrinate them in a way to be biased against churches, which would lead them to explore it in a rebellious phase. I think that agnostic parents
talk about church
like my fiance's parents, for example, like they, I think she's not super clear on what her dad is.
Think an atheist
but her mom
parent
at least has said like church isn't really for her. Church isn't really something she's interested in, but like she left it up to my fiance to decide like, do you want to go to church or not? And she just decided not to on her own.
Okay, yeah.
So is that indoctrination?
To not force your kid to learn something against their will? No, it's not. That's not indoctrination to not take them to church.
That's all I was trying to say.
What? Was it? Okay, that sounds like the opposite of what you were trying to say earlier.
It seemed like you were saying that the only people who attend church do so because of indoctrination. Maybe I misunderstood you.
So I've been to a church.
Cool. Was it a nice one? Some churches are really pretty.
Some of them are cool. So like, no, I mean, you can definitely visit churches secularly. But if you are teaching a child at any age, or any person really, if you're teaching them, because the pulpit is a place of authority, and then those people go, oh, I should have reverence for the person that's standing up there, and then they do, and then they start to listen. That is indoctrination. When you tell them incorrect
it's indoctrination
information.
When you listen to someone in authority telling you something?
It often can be. No,
it can be, but is it like definitionally? Yeah. I don't think so.
From a Christian pulpit, 100%.
Why?
Yes, the nature.
Me listening to my old pastor telling me things when I was like 17 and 18, when I was already having doubts and just like not considering the truth value of it. Yeah, I don't think that was indoctrination.
It takes two to tango in indoctrination. Yeah, he was definitely trying to indoctrinate you and maintain the indoctrination in your church. I don't think he was trying to indoctrinate by having faith.
I think that he was professing the faith that he holds.
So
I don't think all Christians are malicious actors. You seem to be the one who has a hate boner for Christianity.
No, you absolutely misunderstand what indoctrination is. Indoctrination is not like, it doesn't have to be intentional.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. You can absolutely indoctrinate your kids into a cult that you are like. You have a cult leader, like, and you have a kid. And you take your kid and make them join the cult, and you teach them the cult stuff.
How do you
You're indoctrinating the kid.
So that's how you accidentally...
Because you believe the cult stuff?
How do you accidentally indoctrinate someone?
What are you talking about?
Well, because indoctrination
you saying professing the faith.
Indoctrination means to like, teach someone to accept beliefs
listen to yourself.
Uncritically. So how do you do that without intending to do that? I don't understand.
You're making my argument. You're making my argument for me, right? So like so you said that he was professing his faith.
Yeah.
You believe is he professing his faith intentionally to you? Is he making a choice to intentionally? Yeah, of course.
Excuse me. As in he's like intentionally telling me what he believes? Yeah, but I think that he's not intentionally
is.
I don't think he's intentionally telling me to accept it uncritically. I think
you don't have to be aware you're doing indoctrination to do indoctrination.
I think you have to have a conscious knowledge that you are doing a thing.
You think wrong. You think incorrectly. That's not how it works.
Okay.
That's not what indoctrination can absolutely be an accidental thing that you do. You can indoctrinate your kid into believing in Santa Claus.
So then
without
if that's
actually,
the case, why would you have such a problem with the Christian church indoctrinating people? Maybe they're just doing it by mistake. Maybe they don't mean to.
Because it's bad it's bad to believe incorrect things.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that, but you seem to condemn them on the basis of indoctrination. Right?
100%.
Yeah, so if they're not
condemn them on that basis alone.
Well, yeah, but do you
that's one of the many
people on things
of condemnation I have
unintentionally?
for the church and any faith.
Did you hear what I said?
They don't have to do it intentionally to indoctrinate.
Do you often condemn people for actions they take unintentionally?
You can earnestly believe in Christianity and indoctrinate people.
So do you think that
100%? Those aren't mutually exclusive. I have no idea why we're arguing about this. It's so stupid. People who are indoctrinated don't know they are doing more indoctrination. Of course, a lot of those people are already indoctrinated.
Yeah.
There are some, like I would say,
I'm asking you.
The guy with the big smile and the faith healer.
Your issue with the Christian church seems to be that they indoctrinate
He's nefarious.
People. But I have less of an issue if it's not intentional. It's still probably an issue.
I have more.
But you
I
seem to
have
have
an
a
issue
moral
either
condemnation
way.
of the church for intentionally indoctrinating people into the faith. You said that the pastor was doing so to indoctrinate people to continue this congregation.
Well, yes, effectively, he might not. Okay, so we can steel man your position. A pastor could be in full goodwill trying to just share his faith. That is materially, in reality, because we're material atheists, that's materially indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Why do you take an issue with that?
Why do I take an issue with indoctrinating people into false beliefs? Because it's harmful.
How do you know that they're false? How do you know?
How do I know that Christianity is false? Why do I have to argue with this? You agree with me that Christianity is false?
I think it's probably false.
Oh my God!
But I
we're
think
doing this again. So I'm just a hard atheist. You're a soft one. And
I'm
that's
a half-chubbed atheist.
You can be a little. You can be an engorged.
I'm not engorged. That's you. It's like slightly engorged.
Yeah, so you can do that, but I don't know why we have to argue about like the semantics of that when we agree that Christianity is bad. We have to talk about. We agree Christianity is materially bad.
I don't agree that
for
Christianity is
people.
materially bad for people. No.
Why don't you?
I think that Christianity teaches people some valuable lessons that they might not get elsewhere.
It doesn't teach them valuable lessons that they might not get elsewhere. All of the valuable lessons that you can learn in Christianity, you can learn secularly.
Yeah, but that's not what I said. I said they might not get it elsewhere. Better. You might not get some of the valuable lessons that Christianity teaches if you are a secular person.
You keep doing this, and it's not intellectually smart at all. Like, it's not smart. It's just not an intellectually sound
I know it's frustrating to engage with someone who's more intelligent than you, but like you gotta.
That's not what's happening. You are saying if I can conceive of a holistically pure Christian, then the whole thing is good.
That's not what I said. Now he's straw manning.
It's crazy.
No, what I said was
it's so
Christianity
nuts.
teaches some valuable moral values that I think people should have.
Do that.
But you're right, they could get elsewhere, but they have a higher likelihood of getting them if they are a Christian, especially in America.
They have 100% chance of being harmed through false belief by learning it through Christian means.
No, I disagree with that. I don't think you have 100% chance of being harmed by false belief.
100% of Christians were harmed by the belief of being Christian. Absolutely.
How do you?
To different degrees, of course.
Can you quantify that for me? Like, can you show me something?
So for instance, can I quantify that?
Qualify it. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
I mean, like not believing in evolution is harmful to someone.
Why?
There. Because they don't believe in reality, and it leads them to make false assumptions about the world that they live in, which is harmful.
If evolution was
either socially
tomorrow, and there was a new theory for like human I don't know what the fucking word is. There was a new word for human origin on the planet, or a new theory that better fit than evolution. Would you still cling to evolution?
So it's factually true that there is no better model than evolution.
You need to tell that one to Dillahunty. He'll get a kick out of that one. Jesus fucking Christ. You're such a liar. There's no way that he's friends with someone like you. Holy shit.
There is no better model for the origin of the human species or animals. What?
Snake sliding away from the point.
I'll tell you this right now. So I promise if you let me finish the sentence, you might like it. There is definitely not a better model than evolution. Like, we know it's true. We just don't have like the complete animal tree filled out, and that's what makes anti-evolution people upsetty, because they want physical. They don't even want physical evidence for every piece of the animal tree. They just say that they need that so they can kick the can down the road.
Do you think the universe came into existence? Or do you think it's always existed?
I definitely think that we have evidence that the universe came into existence with the Big Bang and the rapid expansion.
Why
Can
is
I
that
answer
still
the question,
a contested
though?
issue?
Why don't you want me to answer
astrophysics?
It's not the Big Bang happening is not contested.
It's considered the most likely
astrophysics.
Hypothesis, but it is not. It is contested by some people, yes. And I'm not talking about creation.
So the possibility of it being not the Big Bang is studied in the same way. Like, I was just watching a video today. In the same way, like string theory is still studied. Like they have, but those aren't true. Those are bad. Like the string theory isn't even a theory.
Explain to me why.
Why what?
Why string theory is not true and bad.
I mean, I'll direct you to a video by someone else that is a physicist to describe to you Sure. Why do you believe in string theory? Do you just want to talk about string
I
theory?
like learning. So like if you want to link me a video, I'll probably watch it. I just think that you make some very large confidence claims where you probably have no merit in doing so.
Why?
I think there's plenty
What's
of
the merit?
I think there's plenty of non-standard cosmological theories that could fit just as well as the Big Bang.
Okay, so string theory isn't one of them. It's pretty much dismissed at this point. It hasn't had. You can look at it. It doesn't have any updates since like 2003. People are still working on it, but it's not good. Like Michio Kaku and stuff is yesterday's news. But what I was trying to answer a whole different question, but you kept changing the subject. You were talking about evolution. So
I was asking you why you're so confident that evolution is the only possible answer for human origins.
So it's proven true.
Yeah, it is. It's proven likely true. Sure. Most likely to. It is
proven
the
likely true. It's
current
definitely
theory that fits the best, given the evidence that we have.
Right. And so if they change the name of evolution, it would include evolution and just be a broader model, like any other. Like,
but if there was an alternative model presented that had better evidence supporting it, would you discard evolution? I'm asking you if you're intellectually honest.
You're asking me if I believe in leprechauns.
No.
So how about this? If you showed it to me, I would believe it. If it was true, yeah, we'd have to reassess. But like, you're asking me if I brought you a leprechaun, would you believe in a leprechaun? I'm like, yeah, I guess I would.
Oh, okay, sure.
We'd believe in leprechauns, but like, that's
all
not
I've ever
going to
been
happen.
trying to get to. Yeah, but see, that's the thing is like, I don't know.
But you're saying like, yeah, it's possible I might bring you a leprechaun one day, and it just isn't. We know it isn't.
Okay, so then
it's not reasonable to keep your mind. Then you need to
either commit to there are no such thing as leprechauns, or not even like, or you need to say there's a possibility. Then when I say like, what if I bring you one? Would you then say it is real? You can't say. You would say no. I wouldn't say it's real.
Yes, I can. Those two things are not competing with one another, and I don't know why you think they are.
Because I don't think that you can maintain skepticism at the same time as absolute certainty.
Hold on, listen. No. Listen. One is, hey, do you acknowledge the reality we live in? And I say, yes, leprechauns don't exist. And you're like, okay, but what about in my fantasy book where leprechauns exist, and you're one of the characters in it, and you interact with a leprechaun in that fantasy universe where you interacted with a leprechaun? Would you believe in leprechauns? And I'd be like, well, yeah, in that hypothetical fantasy, I could do that. I mean, you're LARPing. This isn't a reasonable, comparable thing.
It's not LARPing. It's intellectual honesty. I find it valuable to be skeptical because I've been wrong on things before, and I would probably be wrong on things in the future. So I like to maintain a level of intellectual honesty and skepticism so that I prevent myself from intellectually humiliating myself like you're doing.
It isn't intellectually honest to be open to the idea of leprechauns.
Okay, if you say so.
I definitely am saying so. It's not.
I mean,
I'm very happy to have a second leprechaun guy come around.
I don't think I ever claimed that I believe in leprechauns, by the way. I don't know why you're calling me that.
Of course
you
not.
Picked that
and
example.
Neither did the other guy.
You picked that example, but I tried to evaluate the same question through like alternative theories to the origin of human species.
I used Bertrand Russell's teapot, and you failed Bertrand Russell's teapot, so it was interesting.
How did I fail?
Because you're just like, oh, it's non-falsifiable. Yes, Bertrand Russell would look at you with shame, and he would walk away.
And I don't give a fuck what Bertrand Russell thinks.
He would be like, I know, me really either.
Well,
but
then
still,
why fucking appeal to him? Actual snake.
Appeal to him? I don't care about Bertrand Russell, the guy, but it's a cogent argument.
Fuck what he thinks.
It's the same. This is interesting because it doesn't have to be parasocial like it was with Vosh. That's so weird. I don't have to revere someone to agree with them. This is crazy. This is the same thing. I don't understand why you apply.
What I'm saying it's odd for you to say, I don't care what he thinks, and then appeal to a model that he presented.
I think that model is good. I don't care what his personal opinion of you would be.
Okay, sure. I misunderstood.
Oh my God. Have you been diagnosed? I have to ask. Have you gone to a mental health screening? Because you have I think you should appreciate it and maybe get checked. Because I never have to talk. I never have to backtrack with people all the time. Like, are you trying to do gotchas? The only other person I can think of.
Gotchas.
And
my problem is that I'm trying to move through a conversation here, and you're resisting me at every turn.
You're not trying to move through a conversation. You keep changing the subject and backtracking and trying to catch me in like absolutes I'm not implying because you
have
assume
already
that
implied multiple. You've not just implied absolutes.
You know why?
You've stated them.
You know why?
said there's no such thing as leprechauns and there never will be. You say that
That's correct.
Evolution is absolutely the
Yes.
only theory that could fit human evolution. You say the Big Bang is absolutely the way that the universe started. So the only one like assuming here, you are not just. I'm not just inferring them. You're giving them to me.
Yes, those are all true things that we have proven.
Yeah.
To exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leprechauns
yes.
we've proven to exist?
No.
Okay. Have we proven they don't
the Big
exist?
Bang and it's non. This
have
is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't
answer
just say
the question,
like
Jake. Have we
non-falsifiable.
proven they don't exist?
We can't prove negatives.
Okay.
That's true.
Then it's really stupid
Damn,
to take such a confident claim. Yeah, it's really stupid.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. And someday I hope you agree because that is
I
very
bet if you
dumb.
ask Matt Dillahunty, he would tell you that even he leaves open the possibility of a God existing.
He might leave a possibility of a God
Would
existing.
you call him dumb and unintelligent like you have to me tonight? For maintaining a level of skepticism?
No, he would,
because I
would
can't
definitely
prove
have
a
better
negative.
argument. I think Matt would laugh at you too for leaving possibility of leprechauns
Well,
open.
tell him to shoot me a Discord DM. I'd love to chat with him.
No, don't think he. No, he would hang up on
I
you.
don't think he's really friends with you. I think you were like on a show with him once, maybe.
I have his
just,
phone
like,
number.
Oh, really?
We've texted.
Based.
No.
That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, we're friends.
Okay, cool.
Why you are such a little fucking guy that just wants to.
That's the best you could come up with, actual Snake, little fucking guy.
Yeah, you're just like a little
You're a
scrunchy
dollar
little
store
guy. And you're
boss
like,
with a fucking
like
Party
this
City
corn
corn
guy.
cob costume. What the fuck are you talking about?
You got corn. You got corn fever, man. You gotta get over the insecurities.
100%.
Yes. Yeah, man. You had a parasocial relationship with a streamer, and now you're mad at streamer.
This is not mad. I'm not mad at Vosh. I just feel like I understand him a little bit better than I did before, and I'm more mad at myself for like being sucked into a like ideological vortex.
An ideological vortex.
Yeah.
And now, if you take any hard stance, that's a vortex of ideology.
Nope. I'll take hard stances on like policy issues. Absolutely.
On a policy, it's so interesting.
But I'm not going to take hard stances on negatives I can't prove.
That's dumb. You don't have
You're saying
to.
it's dumb to not prove a negative.
It's dumb to not be confident there's not leprechauns.
All right, buddy. Whatever you say.
Yeah. All right. Have a wonderful night, man.
Yeah, you too.
Enjoy.
Take care. Genuinely.
Whatever it is going on in there. And I hope you come back when you have other disagreements. It'll be fun.
Christ be with you, buddy. Holy fuck, that guy is actually brain dead. Maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am being like way too confident, but it's personally where I'm at. I don't think it's intellectually honest to try and make claims towards negatives you can't prove. That being said, I don't believe in a god. I don't believe in leprechauns. Evolution probably is the best theory. But my issue is he never tried to meet me at the level of the conversation. At no point was he with me on the conversation. It was always some snarky comeback. I don't know what to do, you know? Like, I'm trying to engage in a way that like just gets my ideas communicated quickly and cleanly before you cut me off. God, thank God nobody's fucking watching this.